Although it's better to have a book in your hand.
Yes.
We're gonna read from this second chapter in our book, and the book opens, as I said, with a chapter in the Middle Ages that sort of lays out what will be the myth of the rest of the book. And in the second chapter, we are really first. Can we put it? Oh wait, yeah.
She's sleeping.
There's a griffin.
No, next one.
Well, back. Keep going forward. There should be another one after that.
It's pretty.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh my God.
This is a painting that Carol and I used to the National Gallery stand and look at. And do you all know George Seurat? And
Yeah.
No? Okay, well, George Seurat, for those of you who are saying no, this is Bathing at Asnières. And it's George Seurat was an artist who painted by using dots. And if you want to at some point come up later on, you can look at it. You can kind of see them.
And all my art colleagues, of course, know that. But
this
children, we were going with dots in our presentations.
But this, sorry, yeah. But this is. Well, some people were shaking their heads no, that they didn't know. I know. So this is. If you just observe here, there's a dog down here. I'm going from what we did with the kids today. Sorry. And the little boy in the corner here with the red hat. And Carol, when she was leaving London, I gave her the print of just the little boy because it reminded us of her son, my nephew Turner, in the water. So again, with all the stuff that's going on and the factories in the background, he's either having a bath because he's been at the factory working, or he's swimming. The men who are on the bank just lounging, and the man over here, and the little dog. And this is the painting that starts. We had to put this in the book because it was the painting that started our imaginations going when we used to stand at the National looking at it. So we had to put it in, and this starts the adventure in Hollow Earth.
12-year-old twins Matt and Em Calder were sitting on a hard wooden bench. The gallery was quiet and not yet open to the public, but they were not happy. Their mom had made promises that morning about their plans for this sweltering day, and they didn't remember having to stop to look at paintings being one of them. Setting their backpacks on the floor in front of them, the twins glared at their mother. "Behave yourselves," Sandy warned. "Do not leave this bench. Do not even think about it. I mean it. I'll only be gone 10 minutes at the most. I'll be right over there." She pointed to the tall, yellow-haired man in a dark suit holding a stack of books in his arms. The man dipped his head toward them in his usual acknowledgement. Em smiled politely, but Matt turned away, more interested in a woman wheeling a cart with a wooden crate the size and shape of a painting strapped to it through the next gallery. "Matt, are you even listening to me?" Matt slumped on the bench, shoving his sister to the edge as he did so. "This is a lovely painting to look at while you wait," Sandy went on. "It's by George Seurat, and he often painted using tiny dots instead of brush strokes." The twins frowned at her in unison. "We know," said Em. Sandy soldiered on. "I appreciate that this isn't what we got planned, but I need to take care of some business with." She cut herself off mid-sentence and changed tack. "How about when I'm finished with this meeting, we go swimming just like the boy in the painting?" She put her leather messenger bag over her shoulder. "What do you say? Deal?" "Deal," said Em, who in these situations at least was always the first to agree. Matt shrugged. Whatever. They watched their mom walk over to the yellow-haired man and settle on a similar bench in the next gallery. The man leaned close to their mother as if he was about to share a secret with her. Boring, thought Em, turning her attention back to the painting. Em leaned forward and squinted hard, trying to see all the dots without leaving the bench, while Matt emptied his backpack into the space between them. The pens, chalk, charcoal he always carried in a bashed cookie tin, his iPod, earbuds, 2 Captain America comics, assorted candy wrappers, a pack of bubble gum, an empty Coke can, and a sketch pad. Tearing a sheet of paper from the pad, he handed Em a pen. She shook her head. "Swimming would be a lot of fun," he said. "No one's paying attention to us."
Em accepted the pen, and they began to draw. The next thing the twins knew, they were in the painting, splashing in the cool blue water of the River Seine with a boy in a red hat. He said his name was Pierre, and spoke to them in French. The twins understood. He said he had only a few minutes to bathe before he had to get back to his work. "Is that your dog?" Matt asked Pierre, worried that the dog would have nowhere to go when Pierre returned to his job. But Pierre didn't answer the question. So Matt gave up and began splashing water onto the men lounging on the bank. They ignored him. Matt floated on his back for a while. He could feel Em splashing next to him. He looked up at the sky. It wasn't there, and he thought he knew why. And then he and Em were suddenly sopping wet and lying in a big puddle on the floor in front of the painting in the National Gallery. Two very angry guards were rushing toward them with Sandy close on their heels. The yellow-haired man was gone. Quickly gathering up the twins' things, Sandy apologized to the guards. "I'm so sorry. They must have dumped their bottles of water on each other. It's really warm today." She glared at the twins. "All I asked was 10 minutes. 10 minutes!" She yanked both of them upright. "Oh, God, you have no idea what you have done." Feeling some sympathy for the twins, one of the guards told them that since the museum was not yet open to the general public for the day, no real harm was done. The staff could get the mess cleaned up quickly before anyone else came through. He wasn't planning to take any chances, though, and quickly escorted the three of them outside to the morning heat of Trafalgar Square. A member of the National Gallery's cleaning staff was called to the post-impressionist room, where she soaked up the water with her mop. She had to smile to herself. Her own boys might have done much worse than a water fight if it had been them sitting there feeling hot and bothered. As she was wringing her mop out into the bucket, something on the floor under the bench caught her eye. Reaching down, she snagged a folded sheet of paper torn from a drawing pad. The drawing had to belong to one of those children because she'd cleaned this particular gallery earlier that morning, and she knew she hadn't missed a thing. Unfolding the paper, she was surprised to see a recognizable sketch of bathers at Asnières. There was something off in the dots of color around the boy in the red hat. The men languishing on the shore were distorted in their dimensions, and the little brown dog had a kind of smudged sausage look to him, but it was a very good copy indeed. She glanced at the sketch one more time. The water of the Seine was dashed in thick blue strokes across the bottom of the paper, but the top half of the drawing was a complete blank. No sky. She gathered up her mop and bucket, rolled her car towards the exit, and crumpled the paper into a ball. On her way out of the gallery, she chucked it into a nearby bin. She could have swore she heard a splash.
So the final part that we're going to read is from much farther in the book. And the children are already on the island. They've already discovered some of what is making them very special. And their mom has gone missing. Sandy has disappeared. And they have broken into Sandy's studio on the island. And they're trying to look for clues to what has happened to their mom.
It's also this is the first time, not the reader, but the first time that you will hear something about Zach.
Yes. And the other thing we should tell you that we forgot to say in our introduction is Matt and Em, not only do they have superpowers, as their imaginations are their superpowers, but they also speak to each other telepathically, which I don't ever want to have.
I don't want you in my head at all.
Yes. After about 20 minutes in Sandy's studio, Em lost hope. A dark shadow seemed to cover her mind. She sensed Matt's thoughts as clearly as her own, spiraling into despair beside her. They'd never find their mom this way. She was gone, maybe forever. A spider the size of a cat suddenly pounced out of the painting of the woman with the funky hat, leaping over 2 pots of paint and scampering down the table legs. The black, hairy spider scuttled across the floor towards the twins. Em screamed. Grabbed the stool from under the table, Matt flipped it over and slammed it on top of the creature. The spider exploded in a burst of black charcoal dust. Em screamed again. No! As a swarm of spiders spewed from the woman's hat as if it was an egg sac. With bulbous middles and bulging eyes, they streamed across the table, washing onto the floor in thick waves. Next, a thick ropey vine from one of the exotic plant pictures untangled itself from its roots, slithered across the floor, and wrapped itself around Em's ankles. It tightened its grip, pulling Em to her knees. 3 bigger spiders leapt from the table edge, landing on Matt's shoulders. They dug their legs into his neck, their hair scratching his skin like wire brushes. Matt batted them off with his hands, filling the room with more clouds of black charcoal. Zach ran to help Em, as still more spiders cascaded from the painting. By this time, Em had curled herself into a ball, covering her head with her arms, howling as one spider after another and another landed on her, tangling their legs in her thick hair and nipping at her skin.
You both hate spiders, signed Zach urgently. You're doing this. You're upset about your mom. All these images, you're losing control. Em was now blanketed in angry spiders, but they kept on coming. I can't stop them. Help me get her outside, Matt gasped at Zach. Ignoring the spiders, scampering up their own arms, the 2 boys tried to pull Em toward the door. They didn't get very far. The vine was still holding her tight, squeezing the circulation from her legs. Zach darted to the spot where they dumped their wet raincoats, rifling in Matt's pockets, until he found the sketch pad and a pencil. Matt was cloaked in spiders too, but he was valiantly keeping as many from his sister as he could, booting them across the room when they landed near her. The air was choked with charcoal dust. I can't breathe. Draw something. Zach shoved the sketch pad into Matt's hand. She's going to suffocate. Ignoring the hundreds of spiders thickening across his shoulders, Matt drew as fast as he knew how. He had to save his sister. Matt drew the first thing that came into his imagination. A wooden axe with a bright red blade thudded onto the floor next to Em. With one swift swing, Matt picked it up and hacked through the vine. Suddenly free, Em was able to drag herself outside, with Matt and Zach close behind. As soon as Matt slammed the door to the studio, the spiders, covering their bodies, began popping like black, chalky firecrackers.
Thank you.